From Season 1's The Immortals, a video game-themed disappointment, to Season 9's Thirst, featuring a questionable casting decision. Let's explore some of the most disastrous and cringeworthy storylines NCIS has ever delivered. One of the earliest disappointments came in Season 1, Episode 4 of NCIS, titled The Immortals. This is one of the lowest-rated episodes in the show's history, and for a good reason. This storyline attempted to tackle the world of video games, but boy did it crash and burn. Why? Well, hold on to your joysticks because it all boils down to an MMORPG at the heart of the story. And let me tell you, it's clear the writers didn't do their homework on video games. Fans online didn't hold back when they unleashed their frustration, claiming they've never seen this genre messed up as badly as it is in this episode. One user joined the party and didn't mince words. They described the fictional MMORPG in the episode as if it was written by people who have never played a video game in their lives. The writers disregarded game mechanics, ignoring the complexity and depth that real MMORPGs possess. But hold on tight, because it gets worse. Another Twitter user gave the game content a good bashing. They called out a character the NCIS team encountered in-game, stating that it's something straight out of La La Land. It goes to show how fans are puzzled by the producer's thinking. It just doesn't make sense. So, what's the verdict? The Immortals storyline takes the crown for being the worst of the worst in Season 1. The lack of video game knowledge is crystal clear, and fans were left scratching their heads, wondering how it all went so wrong. But if you thought that episode was messy, wait till you take a look at the next one. This time, we're looking at Season 7, Episode 21, Obsession. And let me tell you, fans were not obsessed with this one. One Reddit user went on to call this episode the absolute worst NCIS storyline produced. And I believe they've got some pretty valid points. Picture this. A Navy lieutenant dies under mysterious circumstances, and one of the special agents, Donazzo, volunteers to talk to the sister. But guess what? She's nowhere to be found. Classic NCIS. Here's where things start to go downhill. Gibbs and Ziva go on their little adventure to uncover some dark Navy conspiracy, while Donazzo goes off the rails with his obsession to talk to her. It gets so bad that Ziva actually calls him out on it. Talk about awkward. Now hold up a sec. Season 7 is actually pretty good, with some epic episodes that fans rave about. So expectations were high, but sadly, this particular episode missed the mark big time. According to an NCIS fan, it feels totally out of place in the best season of the series. Obsession didn't quite leave the viewers impressed with NCIS. Anyways, this wasn't even the worst part of the episode. Do you know what the biggest gap was? They never even bothered explaining why Donazzo is so obsessed with this random woman. Seriously, we're left scratching our heads, wondering what the heck is going on. Give us something to work with. So, Obsession definitely earns its spot in the NCIS Hall of Shame. Oh, and Season 7 didn't just have one bad episode, it had another. Episode 15, Jackknife, left the fans confused and disappointed. When it comes to beloved characters like Ziva and Ducky, you'd think the writers would treat them with care. But nope, they managed to mess it up. In Jackknife, the team investigates the murder of a Marine linked to a suspicious trucking operation. Here's where it gets weird. Ziva and a former Marine named Damon Worth go undercover as truck drivers. Wait, what? Reddit users were quick to call out the absurdity of Ziva being an undercover truck driver. I mean, come on, that's just not fitting for her character. So why would NCIS have such a storyline? This episode is a major letdown in an otherwise solid season, leaving us upset and bewildered. Another episode where the protagonist behaved out of character was a Season 9 episode titled Thirst. In this episode, the team looks into a semi-truck accident involving a Navy officer. But here's the twist. Ducky, the lovable medical examiner, finds out the officer actually died from water intoxication. But the episode takes a wild turn when we're introduced to his love interest, Dr. Mary Courtney, the chief administrator of social service programs in DC, who has a strange, hobby. Turns out, this character is secretly a serial killer. Yeah, you heard that right. Her character is played by none other than Cheryl Ladd, the former Charlie's Angels star. NCIS fans weren't too thrilled about the casting choice, and honestly, we can see why. It was completely unconvincing, and the ultimate plot twist fell totally flat. But the terrible characterizations don't end here. Let's take a look at Abby Shudo, the chief forensic scientist. Now, we all know how much fans adore her. She's got that unique energy and an incredible bond with the team, especially Gibbs. But according to a Reddit fan, there were a couple of episodes that didn't do justice to our beloved Abby. One of them being Cracked from Season 8. In this episode, the team is investigating the death of a Navy researcher who was tragically struck by a bus. Now, here's the ironic twist. Abby discovers some mysterious codes on the body during the examination, and instead of focusing on finding the killer and uncovering the truth, she becomes obsessed with cracking these codes. Oh, Abby, that's not a good look for you. According to an NCIS fan, this episode portrays Abby as a petulant child. This portrayal didn't do justice to Abby's character and left NCIS fans hoping for a more balanced and nuanced representation. It seems like the writers fell into a repetitive pattern where Abby gets too caught up in one aspect of the case, neglecting the overall bigger picture. And that didn't sit well with fans who love Abby's growth and maturity. But wait, there's more disappointment on the horizon. It just never seems to end, does it? In the episode Dog Tags from Season 5, the team is hot on the trail of a naval petty officer involved in drug smuggling. However, things take a turn when Timothy McGee gets attacked and injured by the officer's dog. Talk about a rough day at the office. Now, you'd expect Abby to rally behind her team and focus on cracking the case, right? Well, that's not what ends up happening in the episode. Instead, she becomes fixated on proving the dog's innocence, going off on a tangent that doesn't contribute much to the main investigation. It's like a déjà vu moment. Same old formula with a different storyline. According to a fan, these episodes didn't allow Abby's character to grow. They didn't reflect her maturity shown in other episodes. They felt that she was stuck in a loop where her actions became predictable and didn't showcase her full potential. It's a shame when fan-favorite characters like Abby get sidelined in episodes that don't do justice to their development. Speaking of unused potential, many fans were left unsatisfied with the beginning of Season 18. One longtime viewer of the show expressed their disappointment with the season premiere, Sturgeon Season. They said that the episode felt hastily put together, possibly using leftover plots and scripts from the previous season. The introduction of a new NCIS agent felt rushed, and the episode lacked focus. Another fan chimed in, stating that while it was good to see the NCIS folks again, this particular episode felt odd. They couldn't understand why Fornell was acting crazy. And what's with that weird-looking ponytail of his? The lead-in didn't seem to align with the actual story, leaving everyone scratching their heads. After taking a closer look at the episode's story arc, viewers noticed connections between previous episodes, creating a sort of lost episode that takes place in parallel or just after a specific episode from the previous season. While they appreciated the attempt to build the story arc, they felt that the execution fell short. The episode seemed pieced together, missing the opportunity to deliver a powerful Gibbs and Fornell storyline. NCIS diehard fans felt that the show was losing its touch, especially with cast changes and an overall sense of decline. They compared it to the feeling they had when another beloved series, Criminal Minds, seemed past its prime. Fans had been eagerly awaiting the return of the show, but found this episode to be lackluster and all over the place. They pointed out issues with the story and dialogue, stating that even the best actors couldn't save a poorly written script. Fornell's character had lost his charm. People actually wondered whether the writers were ruining him on purpose. Plus, everyone also felt that Mark Harmon's performance seemed disinterested, and they called for the show to step up its game, perhaps even considering a cast shakeup. With all these mixed reactions from fans, it's clear that this episode didn't quite live up to expectations. So, from a Season 9 episode titled Thirst that raised eyebrows with its questionable casting decisions, to a Season 1 episode called The Immortals that left fans disappointed with its video game-themed storyline. These were some of the worst and most disappointing NCIS storylines of all time.